Okay. Hey, come on in. I
Yep.
heard it. Matter of fact, I think I got some emails about you.
Yep.
So you had. But you know what? You know what I did, buddy? That was the to kind of get you out. You know.
Well, hey, okay, careful what you wish for.
Nah, be careful.
Okay.
Be careful what you come into.
Okay, well, okay, well, I heard it was about the SF-181.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, well,
Let me tell you something annoys me because I gave the response. And what they try to do is looking for a debate on something or trying to, avoid some sort of a type of debate or engender some sort of debate or something like that. Well, this time I should think. Like, and I shut down the thing in the background too, because it can echo.
okay, hold on a second. I know what. I gotta swap this other thing here out. Okay, because we got... Okay, how's this? Is that better? Okay, great. Okay. Oh, you give me 5 minutes? I'll accept that for value and consideration with full reservation of my autochthonous rights eternally. Okay, the SF-181. This is what the U.S. government put out. Now, there's been people like HEMOC at NAAIP. There has been other people who have made statements about the SF-181 not having to do it. And I always say to them, I said, okay, well, or they'll say, you don't need the white man's paper to get free. You don't need to do that. I said, okay, if that's the way you feel, then all the Federal Reserve notes that's in your pocket, the Social Security number, burn it, rip it up, or give it to somebody. Which we... No, we don't come as sovereign. The word again. The syntax for the word sovereign falls, and you know this. It falls under the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So anyone out there calling themselves a sovereign, oh, it's in the DHS manual. I thought you said you were going to give me 5 minutes. I thought you said you were going to give me 5 minutes. Okay. Much appreciated. Yes. So, the SF-181 is the U.S. government's definition of race. Now, there is also an organization in Washington called ACRO. Its acronym is AACRAO. They also endorse the SF-181 and the IPEDS, which is the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System. Since 1997, they have changed race. Their definition of race is not what people think it is. It is not skin color. This is what we've been impressing upon people, that this is what the government has stated. We are defining white, a person having origins in the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Black, a person having a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. There are none. Now, the issue that the thing that comes up is there are those in the educational field who have knowledge of this. We have a letter from Rutgers University as well as the OPM, which is the Office of Personnel Management. They're very well aware this is about commerce, this is about contracts. Just like you talk about Monopoly Board, I'm in full agreement with that. It's all about commerce. Everybody's thinking that it's organic. So what happens is there's people who know about this form. Cornel West, it was put in his hand. He's aware of it. He refused to do a letter of endorsement. Dr. Cress Welsing, before she died, it was put in her hand along with my definition of leper supremacy. That's what we need to call it, and not white supremacy, because when you look at that SF-181 form, the people who are quote-unquote Caucasian calling themselves white, they don't fit with any of those racial categories. So the U.S. government has admitted on the form that people who call themselves Caucasian are not even human. They don't fit any of those classifications. So the SF-181 is a proof that when you fax that in, with the SSN, which is a tracking number, you're on contract. You hold Federal Reserve notes in your hand. If you're not a secured party, you're on contract and you are bound by the adhesions to that contract. So when people want to have an argument about that or have a dispute about it, and we know not everybody is going to accept calling themselves white, but I look at what happened with Bow Wow, Steve Harvey, etc. I don't think my 5 minutes is up yet. My 5 minutes. No, my 5 minutes. You see, my 5 minutes is up yet. I'm not preaching to you. I'm stating the fact. Dr. Cresswell Singh knows about the form. You were supposed to give me 5 minutes. You're in commercial dishonor. You said you gave me 5 minutes and you dishonored that. I'm just pointing that out. You gave me 5 minutes. You said I'll give you 5 minutes. You've been interrupting. Well, if you want to be nice, nice is being foolish. I don't think that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, now he's talking. So we got this on video, so this is beautiful. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. No, I'm listening. I wasn't talking to you. Okay, he's going to give me another 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so now he's talking. Just so everybody on the video can hear this, he asked me to cite sources. So 5 minutes, everybody count. Mm-hmm. All right, so I got 5 minutes. Much appreciated. I appreciate the honor of being on your show. Okay, first thing is the Standard Form 181. This is put up by the Office of Management and Budget. The Office of Management and Budget is connected to the U.S. Treasury. The Office of Management and Budget, in their mandate, they report directly to the President. Now, you want me to provide sources. Fantastic. First source, Barack Obama said on the Tom Joyner Morning Show, Tom, I don't consider myself the first black president because the word black has no standing at law. Black has no standing at law. Okay, now you told me you're going to give me 5 minutes, and so now okay. See, this is contract law. Okay, so President Barack Obama is considered what? The commander-in-chief of the U.S. military. Now, thanks to Alan West, who was on Fox News, he stated that the president is just a CEO of this corporation called the United States of America. Now you have the United States, which is defined in Title 28 U.S.C. Section 3002, Paragraph A, as a federal corporation. Everybody comprehends that. Now you have the United States of America, which is registered in Delaware twice as a corporation sole, and that is under control of Elizabeth II. Now, there's a I can either give it to you in the email or on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I deduce you're on Facebook. There's a brother in there. I think I'm in the chat. Is this it right here? The chat, Blog Talk Radio chat. Okay. I'll do my best to try and put. Can you attach files, or you can't? Only links. Okay, good. So I'm going to upload the file of a brother down. He's a MOOR with messing around with the MSTA with them fools, and he is in Florida. He went to a court case. He had his SF-181 with him. He had a judge sign an order, stamp the order. This is in Orange County, Florida. And the judge went and got the clerk to come from downstairs, upstairs to him, and then they both walked. This guy's name is Chaz Bay. Some of you know who he is. Some of you have seen his stuff on Facebook. And what happened was the clerk, she signed off and stamped the judge's order. She stamped his SF-181. She stamped the iPads, which is the Integrated Post-Secondary Education Data System. She stamped the HCR 194, which is the U.S. Congress's apology to African Americans for slavery, plus the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. Yes. Now he's asking a question. This is called commercial dishonor. If you say you're going to give somebody 5 minutes to talk, you give them 5 minutes. So now he's interrupting. So for those of you that see the video, you can go back and cross-reference the time frame. This is 10:56. So I'm just going to let him talk. And he said there's really not a lot of discrepancy that's utilized by the clerk, by the notary. A notary is not going to discriminate what your document is. He's ignoring the fact the judge signed the order. Mm-hmm. A judge in Orange County. So he's ignoring that again. Mm-hmm. So he's talking. So I know people are going to say, why you keep cutting him off? So he's asking me if I have the order. Oh, you're talking. Okay, you're talking about the order for that from Chaz Bay. I have the order. Yeah. 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 Agreed. I'll email it to you as well. All right, so let's read it first, and then I'll email it to you. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the order. In the circuit court, this is top left-hand corner, in the circuit court of the 9th Judicial Circuit, in and for Orange County, Florida, Division 19, case number 2015-CF-00619-A-O. State of Florida, plaintiff versus Charles Philip Flocker III, defendant. Date of birth, 8/19/1962. Order. This case came on this day for case management conference. Defendant appearance, Charles Philip Flocker III, present. Counsel appearance, Counsel Ann Wedge McMillan, president. Assistant State Attorney present, Robert Welch. Court minutes, case management conference held, ethnicity and race identification paperwork filed in open court under the name Chaz U. Bay. Per the court, case remains set for 7/21/15. Done, ordered, and filed in open court in Orlando, Orange County, Florida on June 15th, 2015. Honorable Judge Robert J. Egan, and it's signed. Deputy Clerk in attendance, Juanita P. Jill E., Office of Tiffany M. Russell, Orange County Clerk of the Circuit and County Courts. Copies to Charles Philip Flocker III, check mark. Attorney, check mark. A. Tomlinson, or ASA, check mark. And then underneath, it says State of Florida. I hereby certify that the above and foregoing is a true and correct copy of the instrument filed in this office. Confidential has been removed. Now this is just the order. This is just the order. Yep. That they are accepting the document which has been presented to the court, because as we all know, on January 18th of 2011, no, they accepted it. They have accepted it. If they felt it was no good, pardon? That's perfect. That's perfect. I accept that for value, and it's filed in open court. Yes. Yes. Perfect. That's perfect. That's perfect. Perfect. So now
You sound like he's having a tantrum.
Yes, he's having a temper tantrum about filing, and he's sitting there saying, well, the clerk has to accept it. Of course they got to accept it. I said that means once they accept this SF-181 and it's stamped by the clerk, it's a legal document.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still sitting there complaining. Like I said, he cut into the 5 minutes, so when we put this video up, this is for people to see that these are the type of things we're talking about. Right? He's sitting there and he's cutting me. I'm going to get to this. There's a January 18, 2011, when the U.S. government, the U.S. Supreme Court stated that judges can void the Constitution. They can void the Constitution in court. That's what I wanted to get to, and he was cutting me off, so he knew where I was going. There's no constitutional right, so you have to fill that SF-181 form out. You have no choice. You have no remedy or recourse at law. So here's the thing again, and he doesn't even know we got this recorded. So when we put this up and people see this, they're going to see exactly what's going on. That Yusef ElI is not talking about no freedom. Right? And so I'm just letting him talk. Like I was supposed to get 5 minutes. I'll give you another 5 minutes. And then he said, I got to ask you a question. Then he's like, so this is it's typical. This shows that he's got something to hide. And he wants his concern, and he already know what's going to happen when people see that this is what they have to do and the solution is that simple. They're going to look at people like him. They're blocking people. They're not really about freedom. He's trying to sell an entertainment package, not a freedom reality. So I'm letting him talk. Hey, it's your show. And I know he's dishonored how many times on the show and didn't even realize it. So he can't tell me about commerce. Say, here, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Then you give me 5 minutes. As I start hitting hard points within 2.5, 3 minutes, now you want to start cutting me off. And then you're getting mad, trying to spin it on me. Hey, you're on my show. I said, yeah, but you said you'd give me 5 minutes to speak. You didn't give me 5 minutes to speak, Yusef.
Nope.
So, again, this shows insecurity. If you are that... If you are that sure about what you're doing, you should have no problem to let the other party speak. Soon as I brought up Bow Wow, he wanted to cut that with Bow Wow. I said, Bow Wow said he's white and American Indian, and y'all are not picking up on this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling him, look, the government is making this determination of race. He is yet to provide an alternative to that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so I know people who are on that. I called it. There's a couple brothers and a sister in Atlanta. They called me, and he said. Then he even admitted, I did this to bait you to come out. Mm-hmm. So he's probably been wanting me to come out for months.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ends up happening? He ends up having to realize, and he said, no, ain't nothing scared. Ain't okay. Then let's do this. Right?
Oh.
So now he said he's going to do the requisite study and requisite research to what you just read to me. I don't see any kind of way to support your position because they accepted the document. That will
How
work
about
with
the
somebody
fact
that
that-
don't know.
But the fact that the government put it
Okay.
out.
He said that don't mean shit if they accepted it. And I'll tell you that over the air. Okay, yes. January 18th, 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court passed down a ruling. The case is out of Atlanta, and it states that judges can now void the Constitution in court. So anyone who's making or wants to use the Constitution as a basis of defense in a courtroom, a U.S. courtroom, the judges can void it. There's also a video on YouTube of a judge in Bergen County, New Jersey, voiding the Constitution out in court. Yes, I know exactly why. Yes, because it was done 13 days afterward. The Constitution in court, because it's admiralty maritime in the courtroom. No, they're not warring against the Constitution. I said they could void it. It's maritime. When you see yellow fringes in a flag, it's maritime. So what? Okay, go ahead. He said, what governs it is contracts. Oh, yes. And the SF and the birth registration is a contract. The SF 181 is a contract. The Social Security number is a contract. The Federal Reserve note is a contract. Black has no standing at law.
He's not trying to hear that.
No, he's not trying to. He really isn't. He's not giving people solutions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point. Give people a solution. He's not disputed black has no standing at law. Right? He's talking about operating a business or a trust. Mm-hmm. You should be using business credit. Oh yeah, so this is very
Staying
interesting.
on the plantation.
Well, like I'm saying, you end up getting into a realm that is outside of the matrix, and very few people know how to navigate that, be in the world but not of the world. So he agreed to that. Oh, because the person's already on. Anybody who's got a job that's got a Social Security number, and I'm anticipating this. Anybody who's got a job and has a Social Security number, you're already on contract with the government. The United States is DC, Guam. Hold on. DC, Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, military bases, enclaves. That is the United States. Someone who lives, I'm not finished yet. I'm getting to that. Anybody who's out in a state is considered a resident of DC. It would be like if you moved from here and went to Italy and lived in Italy and did not give up your US citizenship, you would be required to still what? Pay taxes. So somebody who's living out in the States is considered a resident of DC that is living in one of the quote-unquote 50 states of the Union. Therefore, the Social Security number, which was amended by Queen Misnomer Elizabeth II, they fraudulently call her Queen, back in 1997, all these people are on contract. So the only way you're going to get out of the adhesion contract is a remedy that they provide you at law. That's why none of these Pan-Africanists talk about the UN International Decade for People of African Descent. Yep. Yep. Now he's asking me some questions. About Queen Elizabeth? Okay. Oh, you mean about Queen Elizabeth? I got the document. I'll email it to you. His second question. This is for employees. What are you talking about? The SF-181? Yes, anyone that has a Social Security number is a federal employee, whether they like it or not. End of story. Not debatable. Agreed. Plus they can make a visual determination of your race. So any agency or law enforcement can make a visual determination of your race. Yes. Mm-hmm. They can make a visual determination. Now I don't know if Ta is on. He might be on. A brother, he's from Illinois. He got pulled over. They checked his ID because he did his SF-181, and the officer looked at him differently. We got people whose credit has improved by filing the SF-181. No, you're not. The federal government is contracting with a debtor, with a cadaver. Nothing moves without a signature. They're separated. Yeah, go ahead. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. And here's the proof, Professor. Here's the proof. Professor Mustafa Hefni. You might be familiar with him. He's a professor. He's up in Michigan. He's from Nubia, from Egypt. Dark, with the curls and everything, nappy hair, all of that. He's from there. He used to be a professor somewhere in North Carolina or what have you. And he was talking about his case where he has been fighting the U.S. government for the last 25 years. They classified him as white, and he's trying to change it to black. So now he is a scholar. He's a scholar. He's an educator. Now
Cut again.
he's missing the point. He doesn't listen. This is the thing with Yusef ElI. So when people see it and when he sees it, he is not about educating. He is about entertaining. You have to listen to both sides. As soon as I make a point he doesn't like, and I know the people that's on here, they'll probably see this like, yo, well, every time he tries to talk, you keep cutting him off.
Mm-hmm.
I know people are gonna see that. They're like, come on, man. You know, so he's going off on a whole tangent.
Is that him speaking?
That's him screaming.
He's
That's
screaming
yep.
now.
This is how. So I'm just letting him talk. It's his show. He came to challenge Esther. You notice again, they jump away from the SF 181.
Every time.
They cannot deal with it. Let's break it down section by section, word by word, definition by definition. No, as soon as it's something he don't like, you can tell the programming that he works with and he's operating with and that he is under.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as something that looks that he might lose audience, he has to switch and create drama.
Right.
You know, so Saida was the one that told me about this, and I said, okay, let me call this guy in. To me, this is worth it. You there? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, Professor Mustafa Hefni said when he immigrated. Yeah, but you cut me while I was speaking. And your question. Yeah, I understand that it's your show, despite the fact you've been in dishonor and interrupting me. So. Oh, he cut me off.
Oh.
See? Okay, he ain't cut me off. Oh, much. Okay, your question. Since you're saying I'm not answering your question, what's your question? Uh-huh. 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 Okay, great. Okay, let's see. Which way to do this? Okay. Yes to your question, and it connects to this statement which was made by Professor Mustafa Hefni when he immigrated to the U.S. When he went through immigration, he said because he knows himself as black, but that's because of translation from Amharic or from Egyptian Tamarian language to English. And so he's thinking black from an organic, not from a commercial. U.S. immigration told him, in this country, you are white. And they gave him specific instructions. They do this with all the people from Africa. You have a land, a language, a culture, you have a history. You have nothing to do with these people. Talking about African Americans and blacks over here. And they told him, in this country, you are white. When you look at the integrated post-secondary education data system, yeah, I'm answering it. They say the definitions do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origin. They're not talking about skin color. They said the categories do not denote scientific definitions of anthropological origin. They said the category, then they changed it to the designations are referring to U.S. citizens. Okay, yeah, and it says U.S. citizens, resident aliens, and other eligible non-citizens. Now, everyone knows that U.S. citizen is chattel property, you're a slave, economic, serf, etc. So that's corporate. That's dead. That's an artificial entity. Then the next thing is, pardon? Yeah, that is for a corporation. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because if you look at the definition, I'm going to give you your answer. The definition of white is a person having origins in the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. What is a person, Yusef? A person is a corporation. You know that. That's an artificial entity. Mm-hmm. What country is she from? From the Bahamas, okay? Yes. Uh-huh. You know he ain't cut me off. He want me on his show.
It's been rolling for 35
Oh
minutes.
yeah, he wants this. This is gonna give him to make it see, hey, this is it. Look how long, 35 minutes he's been talking to me, screaming, yelling, huffing and puffing. Right? But he won't kick me off the phone. That's all he cut. He said, no, I'll let you know when I cut your ass off.
That's what he said?
That's what he said.
Oh my
He
gosh.
don't want me off.
Oh
This is
my
helping him.
gosh.
He ain't saying nothing because Saida said he's not saying nothing.
He's not. It sounded like a bunch of jibber jabber.
Exactly. He don't have nothing. I'm giving him light and energy to him. Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. Oh, quite simply. Okay, we have to do a corporate side and an organic side. Okay, on the corporate side, dealing with the U.S. citizens, that's chattel property. Those are corporations. They're artificial entities. They're dead. They're cadavers. They are strawmen. They are cestui qui trust. Okay, good. We got that covered. Now on the organic side, when we look at the corporate definition, artificial, stating that a white is a person having origins in the original peoples. Now it doesn't say original persons. It says original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. Now, when we go on the